Great to see you.
Great to see you.
So, Lancôme. Well, first tell everyone what you do, and then I'll get into my questions.
Absolutely. So I'm the AVP of Direct-to-Consumer Experience for Lancôme USA. If you're not familiar with us, we sell skincare, makeup, fragrance. We're a French heritage brand, and we got our roots in the classic department store beauty counter model. So I'm really excited to be here today and talk to you about how we're translating and evolving that experience to D2C.
I think it's interesting. So I want to just start. So as you know, I have tons of experience in retail. I actually started in department store land. So we always had, what was it, the big three?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Lancôme started as a brick and mortar business, and now you're trying to, or you have kind of gone into a more digital business. Mm-hmm. So do you want to talk a little bit about that experience in terms of trying to get this legacy brand, this brick and mortar wholesale brand into this digital powerhouse?
Yeah, in the 2 years that I've been with the brand, I've really seen a huge evolution in terms of talent, product, and technology. First starting with talent and a little bit about how our brand looks, both online and in store. We're making a lot of investments to make sure that we're showing the widest cross-section of male and female consumers as possible. This includes our celebrity brand ambassadors like Rosalia and Zendaya and Aya Nakamura, who just performed in the Olympic opening ceremony. This also includes all of our real-life consumers who we try to showcase as much as possible in many different use cases of UGC across the site. Then we have product, and I'm very proud to share that this year we have 15 new product launches and renovations planned, so a super deep go-to-market pipeline. And then finally, technology, which is kind of the meat of why I'm here today. And to be honest with you, it's really the main reason why I wanted to work for Lancôme in the first place. Lancôme is a L'Oreal brand, so we have a lot of direct access to really rich first-party data and proprietary technology, including a super robust platform on which all of our AI and augmented reality tools sit.
That's great. So when you go into a physical retail store and you're experiencing beauty, it's an experience. You're there, you're getting stylized, you're trying things on. So how do you translate that to a experience online?
Yeah, so we have some really cool features and functionality on the site to kind of encourage play and discoverability. One new campaign that we launched this summer globally is called Mess with Lancôme, and that's really meant to replicate the complete the look experience that you might get when you go into the beauty counter and you talk to a sales associate and they know that you love this particular shade of a lipstick and want to recommend maybe a graphic eyeliner to go with it, a blush, something like that. So the way that we're kind of pushing that forward online is we're rolling out 100 different trend-based looks that we're modeling on our different celebrity brand ambassadors. But the cool thing is that you could actually filter by your shades, the different makeup products you like to use, and really build your basket, build out a new look that maybe you wouldn't have tried otherwise. And the real kicker is that you can try them on virtually. Each of those 100 different looks, you can try them on in the comfort of your home and really increase that confidence before you buy.
That's great. So do you also have virtual consultations where?
Absolutely, yes.
Let's hear about that.
Yeah, I love this example of creating an immersive experience because it really does make good on that promise of bringing the beauty counter to an online sales channel. So for us, we kind of went back and forth with how to build trust on our site. I had a really interesting moment yesterday, like hearing from someone on this stage saying that relationships grow at the speed of trust, which rings completely true for our brand. For a while, we were trying to figure out how to humanize Lancome.com by using more advanced like AI chatbots, things like that. But then we realized that we have this full team of human e-commerce community managers, some of whom have been working with the brand for decades, and you really can't copy that experience always with tech, sorry. But sometimes you need that human touch. So for us, we really started piloting a one-to-one video call program with our community managers last year, and we were seeing it a nearly 100% conversion rate, which is stunning. So this year we've tried to really scale up, really market the program, and now we're at the point where we're scheduling hundreds of appointments per month, not quite hitting that 100% conversion rate, but it usually stays around 90%, super high AOV, really high sentiment, so it's been a really big win for us.
What I find interesting about the beauty business, and I think you'll probably agree with this, but if I told every woman in the room or whoever wears makeup to take out their makeup bag and throw it on the table, it's not going to be one brand of everything. we're multi-brand consumers, right?
Yeah.
And so that's a challenge, right? Because I might wear a different lipstick or I might wear a different foundation. How do you create loyalty in an environment where, you know, you don't have the whole consumer in there for every product?
Yeah, trust and authority are paramount to us. So certainly in terms of building the relationship through virtual consultations, through using our community managers and our national makeup artists as kind of the voice of the brand online to build that authority, that's been super helpful for us. Also, I'm sure every D2C out there can identify with this, but our loyalty program is a huge, huge big bet for us this year, so much so that we're actually redesigning our entire design system to be centered around member personalization. If you're a My Lancôme Rewards member, you get early access to product exclusives, early access to promos and offers, and a much more elevated set of product recommendations. So we think it makes sense to finally center member personalization at the forefront of our UX UI, which sounds maybe straightforward, but has been quite a bear, and can't wait to get that off the ground.
That's great. Going back to the offline online store experience, so part of creating, when you go shopping, especially for beauty, you have this sense of exploration. I don't know what I want, I just know, and I may say I don't want anything, but then I go in there and I explore and I find it. So how do you recreate that online?
Yeah, so we have a bunch of AI and augmented reality tools. So I mentioned Mess with Lancôme already, which is really meant to explore kind of trend-focused looks, things like that. But we really want to make sure that we're providing an education element as well.
Of course.
So within skincare, which is actually our biggest category, we have a skin analysis tool online that analyzes your skin across 8 different parameters, including acne, wrinkles, crow's feet, sagging. So one, you're kind of teaching the customer a little bit more about their skin than they knew before. They're aware of, certain skin concerns, where there are risk areas, but we're also putting together a personalized skincare routine. That's one of the top internal searches, unsurprisingly, that we have on our site, skincare routine, what to buy together. So we found really good engagement, really good conversion, which is having that kind of turnkey recommendation system.
That's great. Now, are you allowed to talk about, now you have to talk about it because I said it, the what you're doing with makeup creators? Can you talk a little bit about that? I know it doesn't go live till next week, maybe?
Oh, it's live now.
Oh, good.
Thank you for the assist. So as I mentioned, we have our e-commerce community managers, and we love to use them as kind of the voice of the brand online. We also love to use our national and international makeup artists. That really helps us build that authority and credibility in the space. Right now, if you go to lancome.com, we have a friends and family sale, 30% off site-wide, and we have a bunch of supporting content across the site through the POV of our makeup artists. So just like you would experience in a department store at the beauty counter, we have these brand experts who have been working for Lancôme for years, picking their favorite personal products and recommending them based on what's in customers' carts, based on what's included in the sale, and based on what's kind of trend focused. So we really love to kind of bridge that gap between that classic model of a recommendation, like trust-based system, and really making it easy to add to cart.
That's great, and you can actually, I'm assuming you can get data and you can actually see the productivity, and I don't know if productivity is the right word, of these creators, right?
Yeah,
and
completely.
The value?
Yeah, and a lot of these makeup artists you can actually talk to. They're included in our e-concierge system. So if you wanted to talk to, one of our more prominent national makeup artists, you can get on the phone with him and you can talk to him for 30 minutes and he'll probably sell you $500 worth of makeup.
That's amazing. That's a great experience on, in shopping online. That's fantastic. I'm glad you guys are really looking at that.
Yeah, us too.
So we heard a lot about video earlier today. Video. I had a couple panels and everyone's into video. Tell me, how are you using video? Is it still working? Is there a balancing act between video and other elements that make that experience immersive?
So to be honest, I have a complicated relationship with video. I think it's meant to be used sparingly and definitely with a test and learn approach. It's different for everyone, different for every platform. For us personally, we've tried a bunch of different applications of live stream, live selling video. That hasn't quite panned out for us in terms of the scalability aspect, but we do use a lot of video on the site to demonstrate how to apply different looks with makeup, to demonstrate how to apply different skincare products, and then particularly for fragrance, it's really great to use video because we haven't quite cracked that nut in terms of AI and recommending fragrance and replicating that beauty counter experience.
Yeah.
So it's still really emotional. It's still something you want to convey in video. My background professionally is in A/B testing and inferential statistics. So I like to, always make sure we're coming at it from a test and learn mindset with any new technology or any new different type of media. But particularly with video on our platform in particular, we sometimes see a performance cost with video. No matter how much we optimize, there's still sometimes a little bit of a ding in terms of perceived page load time. So it's really important when we're approaching different types of content to create, a couple of buckets of KPIs that we're looking at. One may be a big bet bucket, so thinking about what are our big bets or priorities for the year. For instance, if we really want to drive loyalty conversion, if we have any specific videos speaking to them, that's going to be a KPI tied to it. We also have site health metrics, so overall conversion rate, overall RPS, exit rate, things like that we use as guardrails. And then of course we're also taking stock in the QA phase of any performance costs, site speed, that sort of thing. And it's just a big balancing act to make sure that any benefit you're seeing is overtaking any potential costs.
I love your background. It makes perfect sense. Data analytics, right? And I think the beauty brands have always been very innovative in terms of A/B testing. So it's great, you know, going into that. Tell me a little bit about, so one of the great things about online and moving out of the store into online is this getting more accessibility to people all over the country, the world. So can you talk a little bit about how you're improving accessibility?
Yeah, it's a privilege to be part of a big brand where we have a lot of resources, and especially within the L'Oreal network, I feel like we take that responsibility very seriously. Accessibility in really two different forms. The first one is physical proximity. We're an online, D2C website. We understand that most of our customers maybe are not living within a 100-mile radius of a department store, so it's really on us to replicate that full white glove premium journey from product discovery and comparison, evaluation, and seamless checkout, all the way to follow-up, continuing the journey with that e-concierge experience, having that one-to-one relationship with our community managers. And then the other aspect of accessibility that's super important for us is usability. So this comes into play both in terms of our digital products and our physical products. From a digital perspective, of course, we want everything on the site to be ADA compliant, but above that, we really want to make sure every feature is easy to use and fun to use for as many customers as possible. And then on the physical side of that, given the nature of D2C, that we're online and we can have an extended product range compared to department stores, we're really seizing the opportunity to offer more assistive makeup application devices and offer some packaging alternatives for those with dexterity challenges.
I love that. That's excellent. Great work that you're doing. So there's a lot of people in the room that are trying to build this immersive experience. You've been here 2 years in this role. So do you have any tips, advice, maybe talk about what didn't work, what did work, or anything that you want to share with the audience about how they can then take this and make immersive experiences online?
Yeah, and really these tips have been true, across the board. I've sold family apparel online, I've sold sneakers online, and now selling makeup online. I can confidently say that there are two, really important North Stars. The first one is making sure that you're picking experiences that are authentic for your brand. At Lancôme specifically, we've had a couple of false starts with getting into the metaverse, getting into mobile gaming, and we found that our customers just aren't there naturally. They're not on those platforms. So rather than trying to force it, we've really tried to reinvest into the virtual consultations, the AI, the augmented reality, where there's more of a guided selling and a trust-based kind of authority and credibility. The other tip I'd like to leave everyone with is making sure you understand who's going to own these features after your initial deployment. So this is something that we tend to forget time after time, but I'm really trying to make sure that early on when we're considering a new immersive experience, we know who that internal product owner is going to be, so it's not just abandoned and kind of floating on its own after the fact. By considering that, we've been able to make much more thoughtful decisions about when to really include these immersive experiences as evergreen fixtures of our site, and when to maybe free up bandwidth on the team to keep testing and learning new technology.
That's great. And how are you determining, okay, let's test this, let's leave this, let's abandon this, how are you making those decisions?
Yeah, I would say it's a really careful balance, of course, of like the KPIs that you're set out to, measure. What are we solving for? What's the business challenge that we're solving for? What's the consumer challenge? Also, we're kind of beholden to a French mothership. We have Lancôme Global in Paris, so we want to make sure that anything that we're doing is really, frankly, aligning with the brand values, making sure it's something that fits within our 5-year plan, looking at all of the different markets. Of course, Lancôme USA is the biggest and fastest growing market, so there's some privileges lying in there to kind of push the envelope with some things. But yeah, it really just goes back to measurement, brand authenticity, and making sure you're meeting the customers where they're at.
That's great. Anything else you want to tell us about getting rid of boring websites? Is there any other advice on, here's what you definitely don't want to be doing today?
Yeah, I mean, I've been really excited to finally take up the mantle of talking about AI at this conference. So rather than go into like the nitty-gritties of each of our tools there, I'd really just say, make sure you're kind of balancing from that human element and that more AI computer-driven element. Like we have maybe more of a heritage classic brand. So for us, it can really read as disingenuous if we're trying to promote, too many bells and whistles. So it's really about keeping that careful balance that feels right for us, that human touch paired with the efficiency and the modernization that AI can provide.
That's great. It's tough because in your particular position, you have a legacy brand, but you're going after younger customers, I would imagine. And so you try to have that balance of keeping, both of those generations happy with the experiences online.
Completely.
Does anyone have any questions for Kelsey? We have a question in the front. We can. Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead. I'll repeat it. You talk. I'll say it for the audience. Go ahead.
Because I found, thank you very much. So what I was saying is I want to understand a little bit about your technical strategy to balance these immersive experiences and all these features that you're deploying to improve the user experience itself with the actual website performance, because we've noticed at La Rude specifically that's a very difficult balance sometimes. Like we put super amazing, beautiful, immersive features, and then the website like loading speed is horrible. Like takes 5 seconds for the page to load. And so I just wanted to understand how you're tackling that challenge.
Yeah, for sure. And it's really important to consider, to your point, that like there's a direct correlation typically between conversion rate and site speed. Like if your site's taking, up to 5 seconds to load, and someone's just trying to make a purchase before they jump on the subway, then maybe you've lost them. You've probably lost them. So for us, we really want to make sure that typically, like for anything above the fold, we're looking for like perceived page load within 2 seconds, hopefully less. So really that landing experience, that's what we're really trying to optimize in terms of performance. We'll be a little bit more flexible with some asynchronous, like loading items lower on the page. That's typically where we're pushing more of the tags and integrations and that sort of thing. So hopefully just on that first page load, we're really able to get it quick, but we can typically make some compromise if we're pushing it lower down, and it has that staggered launch.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Another question in the front.
I had a question. How are you balancing the immersive site experience that you're offering on your D2C website, and then also balancing it with the experience that customers have on like Ulta.com and Sephora.com?
Yes, our sisters, our wholesale sisters. So for us as the D2C, we kind of see ourselves as the most like premium, most condensed expression of the brand. So that's where you're going to have a lot of the beauty technology. That's where you're going to be leading with experience. Of course, we're like beholden to having high conversion rate and all of that, but it's definitely where we're meeting our customers who are more deeply engaged. Typically all of our, like media and everything that includes more of those immersive experiences, like the virtual try-ons, like the skin analysis tool, et cetera, that's all being pushed to our D2C. Same thing with like campaigns like Mess with Lancôme, where we're trying to really create that makeup artistry authority. That's all very much pushed to the D2C and trying to make sure that we're creating that full experiential aspect. Accounts like Ulta, Sephora, they aren't really playing as much with our proprietary beauty technology tools. We'll have some shared integrations, like we have like Jebbit quizzes and things like that that we'll kind of integrate on Amazon, Sephora, Ulta. But really, when we're trying to promote that full like education-focused and inspiration-focused experience, that's where the D2C is really encouraged to lead the way.
Let's give a big round of applause